Oh, tell that story that you were telling me about your dad when he was driving.
Well, it's just that you were talking about. Well, I mentioned Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And the Forrest Gump types. When my dad was when he was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
You used to have to sort of do your bit for the local area.
Oh God.
By taking the Forrest Gump people to Blackpool.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called now, the Forrest Gump people? Is that what the organisations that support them ask for them to be referred to?
A minibus with Life is a Box of Chocolates.com.
Well,
Forrest Gump types.
It must be. So you work with these people.
It was
the people with learning difficulties.
Yeah, and he used to get 5.
Coming home must have been a busman's holiday.
So he got 5 of them in the cab.
Yeah.
And he had to go to Blackpool, and 4 of them were really good, you know, behaving themselves, didn't mess about, weren't fighting and stuff. But there was one who was just causing loads of trouble, and he couldn't control him.
Oh,
and what you've got to be able to do with people like that, you don't want them to get stressed out, because it's not good for them. It stresses them out, and you could end up with a bit.
Thanks, Dr. Karl.
You could end up with a bit of a riot on your hands. So he thought, I'll nip this one in the bud right now, and he pulled up just on the outskirts of Blackpool. And he took the one out that was causing problems and put it in a wheelie bin.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise.
He did what?
Oh,
He did it for the good of the others. He put it in a wheelie bin. He was having a good time. He thought it was one of the rides.
Can you stop saying it?
Him.
Yeah.
He was having a good time, and once he calmed down, my dad went back and picked him up, and he was fine. He had a good
What,
day.
he left him in there the whole time the others were in Blackpool?
No, he left him there, not the whole day, probably about an hour and a half.
In a wheelie bin?
In a wheelie bin.
Why couldn't he get out?
Because, like, his arms were trapped on the thing. It's one of those...
He tied him up?
No, do you know, like, because he was a big fella, and, like, he managed to get him in so his arms were down the side like that, so he was a bit trapped.
Wasn't he screaming and crying and stuff?
He was making a bit of noise, but... do you know what I mean?
What, you feel serving right?
Well, but anyway, I didn't really want to talk about it. You just bbrought it up because of Forrest Gump.
Did his family know about this? Is this the first time they'd have heard about this?
He didn't get asked to do it again. Because he had another problem similar to it, where he had a little minibus, and it was his job to take a load of old women to the bingo hall, and it was miles away. And he took him there. There was no problem. About 10 old women in a minibus.
One of them was causing trouble, so he pulled over it.
No, right, so he took him there, everything's fine, he dropped him off, they had a lovely night, right, they had a lovely night, won a bit of cash, coming back, it's a bit of a late night, and they all started moaning at him, going, I want to be dropped off here, take me there, I want to be dropped off first, I've got to get up early, blah, blah, my husband's expecting me, I'm already late, take me here first, take me there, and he just pulled up, in the middle of nowhere, said, get out. And he made them get out, and they all called for taxis. They charged that company who was meant to be taking him home in the minibus, and he got the sack. Jeez. But a similar sort of story. You can't be dealing with it when people don't sort of just calm down and, like, solve the situation.
Yeah.
They're just all like, I want to be dropped off first, take me here first. Take me.
Yeah, so he acts like a madman.
Ricky Gervais film review.
Sure.
Review. Right? Chosen Rain Man.
Rain Man, okay. Now, this has been on TV quite a few times, and it was a multiple Oscar winner.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, okay, right. Rain Man, it's got Tom Cruise in it, and he's alright, he's normal, but he finds out he's got a brother who's a bit mad. Dustin Hoffman is doing it, right? And it's meant to be. He's all weird, but he's meant to be, so it's good acting. Now, oh god, he needs to keep his brother, but they don't want him to have a brother, and he doesn't remember a lot, but he dropped him in the bath and burnt him when he was little, clumsy idiot. But then he finds out he can make a bit of money, so they get the same suits, and they go bet 2 for good, well, because he's got special powers. So he can know what the roulette. He wins that, and he drops some toothpicks. He knows how many there are. And he recognises the waitress just through the book. He's got all his football cards, don't put them out of order, don't go in the telephone box with him, he smells, and get him back in time for Jeopardy or watch it. Anyway, then he slap his head and get worried, Qantas don't crash, so he's got all that, and in the end he doesn't, I don't think, but at least they've met each other.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Rain Man, a film about autism, which is strangely appropriate, I think, when you're reviewing it.
Anyway.
What would you give it out of 10?
Oh, 9.
Okay. Thanks very much for that. Were useful? Yeah? Have you seen the film before?
No, but I will now.
Okay, jolly good. Well, excellent.
You don't talk to anyone, do you, in the week? You just hide in your little sound booth thing, and you really don't talk to anyone, do you? Much?
Not really.
No.
I mean, you might call up.
Yeah.
But no, I keep myself to myself.
Yeah.
Then you don't get bogged down in the office politics and stuff.
Yeah. Is there a lot of office politics here?
I don't know. I don't get involved in it.
Oh yeah. Proved your point.
So when we're away and we're like out of action, who, other than Suzanne, who will you talk to of the day?
How will you get a sort of feedback from the world? How will you get sort of like input and?
I always, if ever I've got like a question on anything, the internet's sat there and I can just go online and find out.
The internet is good.
It's brilliant.
But it's not all verified.
What do you mean?
It's not all verified.
It's not all necessarily factually accurate.
Anyone can put things onto the internet. It's it's freaks and things that put on things
one, right?
like.
Here's one that I read in the week. Right?
Go on.
About this woman.
Yeah.
She was a bit of a punk, and to get her hair done like she wanted it.
Super glue.
Right? No. She got lard. Apparently, it's a popular thing. You might know. Put lard on your head.
Yeah.
And you put it in the oven. Now, apparently, the heat that you get from the oven is different from the sort of heat you get from an hairdryer, right? And she had to do that to get the style that she wanted. But anyway, she comes into money or whatever, treats herself to a microwave, right?
It's not true. Carl.
Opens the door, jams the things, like the little catch, so the microwave works. She jams it with a screwdriver or a knife or something.
Yeah.
Puts the microwave on, sticks her head in, boils her brain.
Don't be ridiculous.
Right? Well, why is that ridiculous?
Boils her brain.
She boiled her brain.
She boiled her brain.
And this is what's good about the internet. I went straight from that, and there was a subject about brains. And do you know that Russell Crowe, when he dies, is giving his brain to charity or something, some sort of some people who can do stuff with it.
She gave hers to Pot Noodle.
Vesta.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
boiling
the sort of
a
stuff.
skull.
Yeah.
That's not true. No.
It's not true, Carl.
It's the same as the woman who put her poodle in the microwave, isn't it? And all that.
Just urban myths.
They're urban myths.
But again, where does it start?
Someone made it up.
Yeah.
For a laugh.
They're just too convenient urban myths. Everyone you can tell an urban myth's not true because it's always this happened to a mate of mine, and when you say what happened then, they go, don't know, that was it. Was it? Was that it? Was it? Someone boiled a brain and that was it. There was no more story.
Well,
were
there any dates, locations, times?
I think it was in Belgium.
There's that one that a bloke, right, was going to get a phone call at 4 o'clock to find out if his business was, okay, right? And if he didn't get the phone call, he knew he was broke, destitute. So dead on 4 o'clock, the phone didn't ring, so he went up to the roof, his office, and he jumped off to commit suicide. And as he was passing his window, the phone was ringing.
Oh, no.
Carl, it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Think it through.
Think it through. Who told that story? Who told that story? As he hit the pavement at 120 miles an hour.
He's the only person who could have known that series of incidents.
Also, why didn't
And
he
he's
wait?
dead.
As his life's at stake, why didn't he wait till 5 past? I say I'm going to give it 5 minutes just in case.
Just in case the lines are busy.
Yeah. And what sort of bloke goes out? I'll call you at 4. Okay, if your business. Well, call me anyway. No. If I don't call exactly 4, then no, you commit suicide. Commit suicide. I would, because if I don't call at 4, that's the end of it. Well, call me anyway. No, that's not the way I work. Why can't you just call me and tell me the other way? Well, I'm telling you how I do it. If you're bust, I don't call. Can't you just call to verify in case something goes wrong? What if it's engaged? It won't be engaged. Just commit suicide at 4, please. It didn't happen, Carl. I went on holiday after Christmas, yeah. And so did our mutual friend, Phil Bowker.
Yeah, good man.
He was in Lanzarote and he told me one of the funny... I don't know if I can tell this on the radio. I'll have to say the C word. I'll just go... It's in a sentence, so I just go, you see, when it comes, and you'll know that he's saying the terrible word. Just, didn't want to ruin the anecdote. Anyway, they're walking along one evening in Lanzarote, and there's lots of Brits there, apparently, and Phil overhears a sort of married couple arguing. They're having to go home a bit early, and she's saying to him, she went, for Christ's sake, every time we come out drinking, you always shit yourself. right?
Wow.
Always, not once. So he's going, oh, I've told you, he said, it's not the drink, it's the weather. She went, the weather. You'll be blaming the food next, you see. I don't think they should have got married.
Wow.
Or when did you think the shitting themselves started? Must have been after the marriage, because if you're courting and you go, went out with Derek again, did you last night? Yeah, how was it? The evening was lovely, the meal was nice, but he shot himself again. That's 5 dates, 5 different heaps of shit.
But I think I can change him.
I think I can change him, yeah. It must have happened after the marrying. Or he just might have think, oh God, or he's got to that age where I think, look, I'll just empty it when I get home.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep going up and going to the toilet, you know.
It's the ice that does it.
Carl is right, I think. It is the ice.
What do you mean?
People forget, they say, oh, don't drink the water when you're on holiday, and they don't. They drink, they buy Evian and stuff.
Oh, I
But
see.
they forget about the ice.
The ice cubes, you're right, in a bar. Made from tap water.
And that can do it, can it?
Yeah.
But what she said every time you're drinking, didn't she?
I assume that she wasn't drinking ice then.
Yeah.
What I mean, why is it just happened to
Yeah,
him?
let's be honest, everyone that goes on holiday doesn't end up crapping themselves.
Yeah, they usually make it
He
to a
does
toilet.
He does it every time he drinks, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, apparently.
Just don't let him carry the baguettes.
Ah, he's good, isn't he?
Oh, Carl comes out with something.
He does now and again,
High
doesn't
five,
he?
Carl. That was sweet, man.
Yeah,
Sweet.
nice one.
Yeah, respect you.
Well, I told you that time my brother-in-law, he was moving out of his place, and I think moving in with my sister, and I was about like, I don't know, 13, and so he was about, 30, and I moved in, and he brought round all his records when he was storage to leave them at our house. Right, and he had all these old sort of records, 50s and 60s records, no, I was right, and they put them upstairs, and I was looking through them, and it's just all like Elvis stuff and Beatles stuff, and there was a mate of mine who loved Elvis, okay, and he had loads of chemicals, yeah, he had loads of chemicals, and I was into chemistry, and he said, let's swap me some chemicals for them, so I sort of nicked about 5 Elvis singles, and I got all these chemicals, and then the guilt just hit me. I just thought, well, he's going to notice that, and one night I just came downstairs and I confessed to my mum, and she went, all right, well, I won't tell him, but you've got to be good. And it's sort of like I was just really, really good for a year. And then I remember when I was about 18, my brother was talking about it, and he said, did you ever play those records I left for you?
Brilliant.
He told my mum, he said, these are for Ricky. She just didn't tell me.
She was sharp, wasn't she?
She used opportunism there.
Oh, that's genius.
And that was it. That's why I was good.
But you've never stolen anything since, have you?
No, I don't.
Except that spate of shoplifting after that to teach your mum a lesson.
yeah. Well, I went round and arson. No, I did. I just couldn't believe it. It was terrible.
I remember. I think all kids go through a phase of shoplifting.
Well,
and when I was going through it, I used to just little things, just like magic markers and magazines, Mars bars, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one day, right, my mate Anthony, his mum called up my mum and said, "I've got to meet up with you. I've got to have a word with you." And she said, "What about?" She said, "I don't want to talk about it over the phone." So she goes, "Oh right, well, yeah, come round tonight then." So anyway, my mum sees me. She don't want to be in an awkward position and like be a bit embarrassed and what have you. So she sees me and she goes, "Right, Anthony's mum's coming round. What have you been doing?"
yeah.
So I go, "Oh God," I said, "I've been nicking stuff." So she goes, "Like what?" I said, "Oh, not big stuff. I've had a few calculators and Mars bars and stuff."
How many? I'll just work it out. Hold on. Works out at 7.2 per day.
So
How many calculators do you need?
So anyway, so it was when that phase.
You failed maths, didn't you?
Everyone wanted a calculator. It was like a trendy thing, wasn't it?
Right, oh, yeah.
In Manchester a couple of years ago, yeah.
So anyway, so I told her all this, and I confessed to
Computers will make it there one day.
I confessed to
There's magic in the back of battery. Go on.
confessed to nicking all this stuff. She comes round. She only wanted to borrow some money.
Brilliant.
She said, "Oh, I don't like asking. I was a bit embarrassed to ask you over the phone, but can I borrow 20 quid?"
Oh, that's fantastic.
And there's me. Bloody,
That's great.
and it's similar sort of thing to yours.
And did you?
And he went, hold on, Mum, let's just work out the interest on that. Bank 10%. She'll owe you £4.40. Oh,
so your mum was a loan shark.
yeah.
And did she mention
She
that
went,
you've been nicking stuff with that other? Because what I'm saying is, presumably you got your mate in trouble.
No.
Right, you didn't.
That's great.
Music that matters. That sound weird to you? XFM.
What do you make of the first genetically modified baby?
Oh.
Are you worried about this?
Do you know what did they do? What?
Let me see what it says here. It
Well,
says,
isn't it just choosing the eye colour?
Well, this is the concern, isn't it? That in the future you'll be able to decide whether it's a boy or a girl, how intelligent it is, what it looks like, is it handsome, is it ugly? Obviously, no one will choose an ugly baby, and so on and so on and so on. And so it means that where will it lead? Where will it end, Carl? Are you concerned?
I've thought about this a lot.
What will us three look like in the future if they're being, genetically modified beautiful people? What will we be like? How will we be considered in society?
True, yeah. But we've talked about this before, haven't we? About the cloning thing.
Yeah.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think it matters, because at the end of the day, right, you might look like some other kid, but it's the way you're brought up that will change your features and the way you are, your personality.
If you lie, you get a long nose, don't you?
Well, no, but listen, right, because I remember when we, I was growing up on this estate.
This is going to be good. Go on.
No, it's not. It's just an example of how this doesn't work.
Go on.
So we don't need to worry, sort of thing.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So I'm growing up on this estate, and there was this woman about 4 houses down, right? It's a bit rough. All right.
Didn't fancy her.
Oh God, no. Right, but she had a
Why?
baby.
Well, tell me about her first. I'm interested in this woman. Why was she?
It was a very.
Was it like being a man in a
I
dress?
mean, I didn't grow up in a posh house or anything. And I'm not saying that if you live in a bit of a rough house, you're a bad person.
What does she look like?
But anyone can
Tattoos?
clean up.
Look like Tony Green with a fag on.
They didn't clean up much, right?
Oh.
Which, even if you've not got a lot of money, you can still try and make the place look nice.
Yeah.
Right? But she didn't, and a kid used to take a horse into the house.
Sorry.
Whoa,
Whoa, Neddy. What do you mean a kid used to take a horse into the house? Where did he get a horse?
Must have nicked it from somewhere. Must have done.
So you've seen a horse do it? No.
What, is that from outside the saloon round the corner?
Yeah, was it just tied up with a bit of leather?
Right?
Oh, that's great. Did Big Jake come looking for it?
I'd been out.
Oh. Sorry, let me get this. This was before the lynching stopped or after.
Where did he get a horse from? What do you mean he must have nicked it? His mum said, where'd you get that from? I bought it. All right then, but keep it out of the kitchen.
I don't want you going Catlin rustling.
Where did he get a horse from, Carl? And how long did he have it for? Was he leading it or riding it? Mum, open the door, I can't stop!
I can't stop it. Open the patio door as well.
Looks like we got us a runaway. What do you mean?
I don't know, but the thing is, they couldn't afford to buy one because they're not cheap. So I'm just guessing. Maybe that's wrong of me. But I think...
He had a horse?
Yeah, right. So
that's why the family didn't have any money. They'd spend it on the horse.
No, I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would have bought it. So anyway...
Yeah, it's wise to whisper, Carl, in case they're listening.
Yeah. And
they could be in the room next door.
It's not buying it, it's keeping it as well. Oh,
so I was like in the car with my dad coming into the avenue, and you used to have to drive down it to turn round. And, and sort of go back to our house.
You had the traditional method of transport. Yeah.
And the horse was in the lounge.
Reading a paper.
Just like walking around.
Oh God! What?
And when I was doing, I tried to earn myself some money once by flogging little flowers in plastic cups.
What? This is genius. It just keeps coming. What do you mean you're trying to flog little flowers? What do you mean?
Wait. Let's play a record. Let's play a record and come back to this, because it's always going to just unravel and unravel. It's going to go for hours. Let's play a track,
deeper
Carl.
and deeper. It's like an onion, isn't it?
We've created a whole world here where there's a man living with a horse.
Just walking around the lounge.
I come from the West Country. I've never heard anything like that.
I just think of a big sort of like orange carpet, and it's got a rediffusion telly, and this horse going, I'm fed up in here.
Exactly.
This is really...
I am not taking the rubbish out again.
Yeah. We were talking, we were doing White Van Man, and we got onto
genetically modified babies, but
and
somehow
then Carl started telling a story about someone with a horse, and then he got onto, he was trying to make money selling flowers. Just do the flowers briefly.
Well, hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know if that's relevant.
You don't need to go that far. But what I'm trying to do is like make a picture for you so you understand.
What does she look like? Who did she look like?
Bit of a, and no disrespect to her, bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
right?
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be Paul. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I never got that close to it.
Okay, all right.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her
No,
husband?
her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse,
Yeah, from I don't know where. I think there was some stables down the road or something.
and they kept the horse in the house with
They
them.
kept it in the house.
Did
But
they
they didn't
get
have it
caught?
for long.
No.
Sorry, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse
No,
in
what
there.
happened was I was. They did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity, and they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know. I thought forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just
a
a good
charity
money making
eater.
overweight.
So-
You're a charity.
So, so I asked my mum for some because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them, and I'll go and buy some plastic cups, and got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them,
Yeah.
got a tray,
Yeah.
had about 25 plants on it, selling
Yeah.
them for 25p each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
Did you just cut? You didn't just cut them and stick them in the
Yeah, they
soil.
wouldn't have survived.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a bit rough. So as I went,
The horse went, thank God for that breakfast. they've been feeding me kitty cat.
so I got up to the door and they opened the door and it was one of them houses where no carpet
Yeah. A horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
and,
Yeah.
and the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
Central heating.
3-piece suite and
Sure.
a telly and that?
Telling you that.
No, but I was saying this the other day,
And an Atari.
right? I was walking through London. the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, "They've got that dog is happier than most dogs
Right.
because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for
Yeah.
itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
That's
what
by
we're
the
talking
by.
about. Yeah, So anyway, this family, who's a bit what we were talking about. It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Right now, what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right, and Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that,
Yeah.
right?
It could happen, Rick.
So
Come on, work with him.
So you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do. They inject it with something or whatever.
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
And get a little baby, and there it is. It looks the same. Now the thing is, you separate. You both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right. Now, you look at Stephen. This is you look after your baby.
Yeah.
You treat it well. You give it good food and
I'm a
that,
good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right. So then it changes its looks. It goes a bit fat. You know, it gets tired easily and that sort of thing. Now, when this family.
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right. This family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, you know." And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around. It used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit.
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover? Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly, and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
how you're brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
God.
But am I right?
Oh, you're always right, Carl. Can I just tell you a story that Carl told me a couple of weeks ago?
Is this another ghost story? Another
Yeah,
spooky
it is,
story?
yeah. I called him out. I was, what are you doing? He said, I said, I've just been reading ghost stories again. He said, you don't believe in them, but how do you explain this? Right, I went, go on. He said, I'll tell you as he told me it. He went, bloke, right, just sitting at home, just sitting at home doing, watching telly with his cat, and the phone rings, and it's a bloke going, is that fire in your oven okay now? 'Cause your wife called. And Carl went, well, 1, there was no fire in the oven. 2, he wasn't married. I went, right. Go on. He went, well. Then, right, there was a knock at the door, and there was 2 sort of people in sort of white coats, and they came and said, oh, we've come about that fire. Your wife called us. He went, 1, there isn't a fire in my oven, and 2, I'm not even married. Right? And he said, and they saw the cat, and they looked at the cat. It looks a bit weird at the cat. The cat came out, nothing. And he said, and then he went back, sat down, phone rings, and they said, did they sort out the fire in the oven that your wife told us about?
Oh.
He went, 1, there is no fire in my oven. 2, I haven't got a wife. And Carl went, what do you think of that? I went, that's not it. He went, yeah. I went,
that's the end of the story.
What? He went, well, how'd you explain that? I went, explain what? I thought he was going to say, a year later we got married, but she died in an oven fire. Right? I thought it was going to be that. And I went,
that's
what?
People winding him up.
Yeah, or someone did report a fire in the oven, and their name was Johnson, and they looked up Johnson, they got the wrong thing, it was the gas board, and they sent it round to the wrong person, right? You know, he went, yeah. I said, I explained it to him, he went, yeah. Why did they look at the cat funny?
Oh, man alive, Carl. This is really weird, right? I was in my house once, right, and the doorbell rang.
Yeah.
Right, I opened the door, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Right? And then I looked across the street,
There's
right, and there were some kids running away.
Yeah.
Now, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
There was another time, right, where, like, I opened the door and there was a bloke goes, you've ordered pizza. I went, I haven't ordered pizza. And I heard my mate upstairs giggling and putting the phone down.
Yeah. How do you explain that? Carl, seriously, why did you tell me that story? What did you think that was weird about that?
The fact that it was 3 different people.
Is this all the information? Is that the entire story?
It was 3 different people.
Did you fall
hassling
asleep
him
and not read the
about
end?
A fire that didn't happen, about a wife that didn't exist, and a cat that didn't look happy.
Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, Carl. What? I mean, why did they look at the cat funny?
Because cats don't like spirits, do they?
What? The other blokes were ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
So these are kind of beadle about type ghosts. These are ghosts who walk the earth as the undead, just winding people up slightly.
That's lovely. Lycanthropy.
What's lycanthropy?
Isn't that werewolfism?
Really?
Isn't it? Do you believe in that, Carl?
They've found stuff, haven't they? They've found kids walking about who are all airy because they've sort of grew up with wolves and that.
Yeah.
So
No, you see, 2 things there. You cannot take on acquired characteristics genetically. So if you grew up with wolves, it wouldn't suddenly make you hairy.
There's been pictures, there's been stories on it, and I reckon a lot of people have seen the stories. It's a popular thing.
You mean the kids that are born hairy?
No, there's kids who have been born hairy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but listen, and they walk around on all 4s, and they drink milk from a saucer.
Steve, this is
No, remember that time with the maggot in the head?
Yeah.
And getting out with bacon, and you were like laughing, and then people called up and said, yeah, I've seen that, I've read about that.
Yeah,
this is the same thing.
Have you seen an XFM listener up close? Have you ever looked?
They drink milk from a saucer.
Yeah, they've got to be kept on leads. People who listen to this show.
There's no point me telling you about stuff.
There is. It's comedy gold.
When you were at school, did you keep arguing with the teacher saying you're talking rubbish there?
Teachers didn't teach us about werewolf boys and ghosts. They taught us maths. God, right. Tell the story about the manhole cover.
Right, in the same magazine as the one with the cat and the fire and that.
Don't tell me that story again, it gives me the shivers.
Yeah, a cat that's got a weird expression on his face is against God.
Anyway, this isn't a scary story. This was just like physics. Physics.
Yeah.
It was going on about the nuclear bomb and how powerful it is. And they put a manhole cover on top of one.
Okay.
Blew it up.
Yeah.
Never saw the manhole cover again.
Man alive, Carl. unexplained.
What's going on there? Something weird is happening there.
If anyone has ever seen that manhole cover, please get in touch. We'd love to know where it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. What sort of experiment is that? I imagine all these scientists on multi-billion-pound research budgets, they're going, we test everything. What would you do to a manhole cover? Don't know.
That's like letting a couple of students.
Yeah, exactly.
control of a nuclear
Do you reckon it can send a traffic cone into orbit? Go on then, put it on there. I love that. I imagine that. What value is that? I might tell you what we could do. We could put the manhole cover on it and aim it, and then blow the bomb up, and the manhole cover would have someone's eye out. Fire it. See if you can fire manhole covers off the nuclear bomb. I love it. Tie bangers to a bomb. See if it's louder. Oh God. The film review and that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This week I've chosen My Left Foot.
Right.
Okay. Now, My Left Foot is a film about a bloke called Daniel Day-Lewis, who's all mental except for his left foot, right? And he has arguments. I can't remember. He has arguments with his dad, so I wasn't watching it properly. But even though he's mental apart from the foot, he does stuff with the foot that we could do all over, and he uses that to his best. I think he might write a book or something off paint. And the moral of this story is, even if you've only got a foot that works, you can still win prizes because it won the Oscar.
Okay. Am I right in saying that you're bringing a book out of these collected, maybe for the Christmas market?
I think I might.
Yeah. I see there's obvious
great
market
films
there.
reviewed, sort of, with it's a different outlook on it,
a different approach.
I don't just sort of like say.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's an approach that doesn't really use grammar. which you don't see that often in film reviews. But no, once again, what would you give it out of 10?
I didn't really concentrate. I can't remember a lot about it, but it won an Oscar, so I think it won an Oscar or something. So 9.
Okay, jolly good. Well, that was My Left Foot, which is probably available on sell-through video, maybe in a bargain bin. $5.99, probably on TV this Christmas. That's to be confirmed.
Me and Carl went out for a beer, and it was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, we started
off
good.
And you met my mate Robin, didn't you?
Yeah.
And some of the stories. Do you want to tell Steve some things about Robin that you've done?
Do you know him well?
Yes.
Well, do you know about his worm problem as a kid?
Go on.
Right. What I can remember is he had worms as a kid. Not sure how you get him. He never answered me. He was getting a bit touchy about it.
Right.
This is like the second time I met him. I think he was a bit annoyed that Ricky told me about his problem.
What
Yes.
now? Straight away, you not being there, instinctively, what do you think went on with this story about worms?
My suspicion
is
rather like when you told a group of people that Robin had once suckled milk from a cow's udder.
Yeah.
Did he mention that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
And
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well,
Because it's not true.
imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him that the way Robin cured these worms was because the doctor told his mother, right, to hold a piece of ham or cheese near Robin's anus so the worms would come out for the food, and he believed it.
I'll tell you why, though.
I said to Robin used to sit on spam to try and get the worms out, and he believed it.
But Steve, right, do you remember that story about 3 or 4 years ago where there was some bloke in the army? He went away to somewhere, Vietnam or whatever. He was messing about in the woods.
Messing about in the woods?
Shouldn't he have been fighting?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, and he walked through some lake, and I think he'd cut his toe or something on something, and some worm of some sort crawled in the gash.
Yeah.
And it was in his body, and the doctor said, we've got to get this out of your body. So what they did was, they said, right, the thinnest part or something of your body that things can crawl through is on the top of your head. So they wrapped
Where the skull is.
So they wrapped some bacon.
No, they didn't!
They did. That's
right.
thing.
So he's gone in by the toe. So what we do is, I'll tell you what, that worm's probably heading straight for the head. We'll put a bit of bacon on it. The thinnest part of the body is the skull. Of course it's not the thinnest part of the body. It's where your brain case is, isn't it? It's the skull.
There was a reason for it. and it was like they stuck some bacon on his head. And
As ever, the vital piece of information, i.e. the reason, Carl seems to have forgotten.
Because the worm was in his body, and they said everyone likes the smell of bacon.
Including
even
worms.
Even a Vietnamese lake worm. They
Oh, they love
Remember
bacon.
last week when I said about the little fella with the bone with no brain, and you were proved wrong?
No.
Please.
No. We were saying it wasn't a little fella. We were saying it was a stillborn child. It wasn't a little
You're
fella.
changing it now. You weren't having any of it last
Right,
week.
hang on a minute. I'm getting confused. There was a Vietnamese snake that went inside of a soldier.
worm.
A little like maggot or some sort that you have to get out of your body because it causes problems.
Yes, and so in order to get it out of the
He runs
body,
him off.
they strapped bacon to his head.
Yeah.
That is great. This doctor.
And did that work?
I think so. They had a picture of him smiling.
Oh God! What, the worm or the bloke?
The bloke.
Oh dear.
Honestly, I hope someone knows the story. And
Right.
it was about 3 years ago, I reckon.
Okay.
And, yeah, it did work.
GI bacon.
So this is why when
And so what? The worm burrowed out of his head to get the bacon.
get to the bacon.
Right. That's great.
So this is why when Robin was telling his story, I was a little bit disappointed if it wasn't true.
Right.
Because in a way,
You know Robin's never been to Vietnam.
No, but what do you really think that Robin? Well, as Robin said at the time, Carl, why would I sit on ham then tell Ricky Gervais? It's a very good point.
because if he was a kid, you do daft things like that as a kid.
Right.
He
know
is
what I
the
mean?
telling Ricky Gervais, though.
Yeah. Bless him. So, Carl, concentrate.
Yeah, go on.
So we'll leave the worm with the bacon wrapped around the head, shall we?
Well, if you're ever caught in the jungle,
Yeah. Always carry some.
bit of Danish.
Good advice.
Lovely. So, would you like to start on your to Steve, because I've heard all these.
Well, we won't do them all.
We'll start off with the Mr. Freeze. Tell Steve the story of Mr. Freeze. This is the first time he nearly died.
This is the most serious of the lot, really. So, what it was, do you know, like, I don't know if your mum and dad did the same thing, but like they do the weekly shopping on like a Friday.
Yeah.
So when you got to Thursday, there wouldn't be much stuff left in the cupboard. It'd just be like, you know, your Jacob's crackers and stuff like that. So when they'd been to the supermarket and they came back, I was like, you know, what's that saying? Like a pig in. You know, I loved it. It was like loads of food coming in, loads of biscuits.
What is that saying?
He nearly said pig and shit.
Right.
Is that the same?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, all this food comes in.
Thank
It's
God he
like-
didn't.
Otherwise he'd have been in trouble.
That's true enough.
Because he's culpable for our actions because
Exactly.
he's the producer. So technically, that twat's in charge. Go on.
Right. So anyway, so there's loads of food, and I'm like, oh yeah, look at this, and chocolate biscuits, and you know, penguins and stuff.
Bacon.
So and bacon.
Just in case, you never know.
So anyway, my mum and dad's putting the food away. Me and our kid are like, he's already grabbed something, gone back upstairs.
It's like feral children. it's like a quest for fire. And then they run upstairs. What did he do? Sit under the bed, gnawing at some sort of pig's trotter.
So I saw. Do you remember Mr. Freeze Pops?
I do. Yeah. So what they're kind of like popsicles, icicles.
Yeah, but really long, like
Yeah,
a foot
yeah,
long,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I thought I'll have one of them. So I grabbed it.
Went for the nutritious stuff first.
Absolutely.
And like my mum and dad are putting this stuff away and what have you. And I rip it open and knock it back, right? Straight away, just right back like
Swallow
that.
it straight
down
away,
it. But it went down the wrong way, right? So I
What,
was
down
like,
your shirt?
So I was like, oh God, I can't breathe. And my mum and dad didn't even know what I'd ate. Do you know what I mean? I ate it so quick.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of tapping my mum on the back, going, and she's going, oh God, you know, he's choking again, because I was always choking. If it was one thing, I don't know if I've got like a small throat, but I mean, even Ricky knows I can't drink that much, can I?
Yeah.
Do you know,
Or eat pebbles.
I'm not a quick drinker. I'd always, I think I'm scared of like swallowing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like bottle tops and mint imperials and stuff. I was always choking on stuff.
Oh, jeez.
So anyway, she's going, oh God, what's he picked up on it now?
Drop it.
So-
And she hit his nose with a stick.
So I was going, I'm choking. At this point, my dad had like, I think he'd put his share away, you know, his food away, and he'd gone.
His share. I love it.
Yeah.
He'd gone to watch like winner takes all or whatever in the lounge, and I was in the kitchen, and I was starting to I didn't care anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just got to that point where I wasn't struggling anymore.
You just thought, I'm done
I just
for.
was like falling to the ground, and my mum's going, get in here, I think it's serious. And my dad comes in and sort of starts shouting at me, saying that's what you get for being greedy. He didn't even know what I'd eaten.
Well, it was the moment to teach you a lesson, certainly.
So he's there like that, and my mum's going, oh, look at him, and my lips were going purple, and my eyes were rolling into the back of my head.
You look like Marilyn Manson.
And so anyway, she grabbed me from behind and did that fireman thing.
The Heimlich manoeuvre.
Yeah. And, winded me, and it came up, and I was all right.
What, the whole popsicle came flying back out?
You see, that's what I don't understand, because there was nothing there.
No, just a little bit. No, it swells up, doesn't it? Because it irritated it. So it went down your sort of like your epiglottis. It went down the wrong way, like it went into your air canal instead of your throat, and it sort of spasms, and that's the fear. You just got to calm it down and relax.
So in time, I would have been all right.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't.
Well, no, you might have.
So that's so that's
hang on.
one.
No. But the weird thing is, for 3 days after that, I felt like a sort of special person. I went to school.
I'm saying nothing.
I did full days.
A special needs person.
Yeah.
I went to school the next 3 days after that. I didn't wag it or anything. I did full days.
I love that. 3 days, turn over a leaf.
Yeah, exactly. After 3 days, you thought, screw it.
Yeah, did a quick history exam. Yeah. Right, next one.
Weird.
That's popsicle. That's popsicle hell. We'll call that. Right, next one.
Which one's the next one?
Oh, what about your paper round?
Right, the paper round one. Paper round, I'd still say it's the best job I've ever had.
And he means it.
No, I really enjoyed it. It's like, you don't have to work with anyone else, right? So you make your own rules.
Just think of that.
You sort of
You're
around,
spreading information
well,
to people. Vital information.
Giving a service, and no one else is around. You can just do what you want and think about stuff whilst you're cycling around on your bike. It's really good.
Yeah.
So anyway,
imagine the stuff he's thinking about when he's riding on his
I
bike.
can't. Oh, so getting in the head of a salamander.
So anyway, I loved it, and even though I only got 50p a day, right? No matter what the weather was like and stuff, I used to get up at 4:30 and go and do the round. And
why'd you get up at 4:30?
Because I wanted to watch the Pink Panther at 5:30, so I wanted to get me paper round done.
I said, why didn't you watch Pink Panther?
And then
he went, I can't sit there thinking I've got my paper round to do.
He'll ruin it for him.
Yeah, so is it a good job or not?
So 4:30 I was up and about, and this morning it was like winter, really bad winter, bad snow, freezing cold, really windy and all that. And my mum said to me before I went to bed, she said, don't be getting up tomorrow, I'll give you the 50p. I said, it's not about the 50p. So, people want the papers and stuff. So,
conscientious.
So anyway, I went to bed thinking, that's it. I've told her I'm still going, so, whatever. Go to sleep, get up in the morning, and put all my kit on. And I used to have layers of clothing on because it was really cold. I had a big anorak on with the fur on. I had waterproof pants, and I got my paper round bag. And I went downstairs to get out and tried to open the door, and it was locked. I thought, oh, God. So she'd locked it so I couldn't go out. So I'm searching around the house looking for the keys. She must have hid them somewhere. I thought, oh, God, I've got the papers to do. So I thought, how can I get out? So I went upstairs, climbed out of the bathroom window.
God.
Right, and to try and jump out of the bathroom window onto the porch. But the problem was, I had so much gear on, I was like the Michelin Man. So I could hardly move as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get out the window, and I'm trying to stretch down like that, get my foot on the porch. And my bag got caught on the hook of, how you have a hook so you can put the window open.
Right, yeah.
The little arm goes on. My bag had got caught on that. I was holding onto the wall and my foot on the thing, so I couldn't sort of pull it away in case I pulled it away and then fell on my head.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck there.
Dangling.
My dad comes back from working nights.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a burglar.
Gets out his gun.
So he's shouting and stuff, going mad and going, Dad, it's me. And he had to give us a hand using a...
He's heard that wily trick in Manchester before.
He had to help me using a washing prop thing, a big stick.
What did he do?
Well, he said, just hold on for your dear life, and I'll sort of push the paper bag off the hook.
Why didn't he go upstairs and sort it out?
It was at that point where I was in the middle, there was nothing you could do, do you know what I mean? It's at that point where you've just got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And by the time you go upstairs, who knows what might have happened.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to act there and then, no messing around. So
and you could hear downstairs, now here he is, the Pink Panther. Dad! Pink Panther.
Hurry up!
Panther, ever so pink. Oh.
So that was close to death, because I must have been about 30 foot in the air.
So, to cut a long story short, he gave me about 4 or 5 near-death experiences, and he went, and the whole point of this, he went, so that's why I think I'm going to die of something horrible, like cancer. And I went, why? He went, right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
He said, well, I don't check my balls. Wait. He said, I don't like the feel.
Carl, always check your balls. I know you guys are laughing about the height thing, and for those that have only just tuned in, I am 6'7" tall, which is tall, and that's big. And I pride myself on it in a way. I've worked hard. I've not smoked. I ate well,
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment, but obviously I didn't have much involvement in it, I just am. And it's a curse, because mainly the problem is that you can't get stuff. You can't get clothes, you can't get shoes,
Yeah.
Size
He's size 14 feet.
Yeah, but it is genuine, and I don't know, I mean, it costs a lot to buy a pair of size 14 shoes, and if you were genuinely poor, I don't know how you'd afford to be tall, because the clothing costs more, everything costs more.
I've seen this in comics, that you'd actually go to school in a barrel.
Wearing a barrel.
With just braces, it'd just be a barrel, and you'd have sort of flip-flops, and you'd take a mule with you. They all had a mule, didn't they? The
But
poor
people always think you'll be in a pub or something, and people just think they can talk to you about it. They just think, hey, all right, you're lanky, it's just like, because it's like they
But
think,
that really annoys you, doesn't it?
Well, it annoys me because it's like they think I should be proud of it. Like,
Well, exactly, but they don't think that this is not a disadvantage. This is not a disability, is it? You're taller than most people. It might
It is
get
a disability.
No. If you were 8'3", it'd be slightly debilitating. You would, but you're what?
Debilitating? Yeah. No, you're a medical man, aren't you? But no, the point is, it's a debilitating because when you go on public transport, like if you're on a coach, the only place I can sit on a coach is that seat
on the driver's lap,
either on the driver's lap or that seat at the very end.
Yeah,
which sits into the aisle.
Yeah,
that's the only place I can
sit.
You
stand up,
some sort of kids at the back waving at drivers.
You could drive it from the back.
Here he comes. Watch it.
Were you a tall baby? Oh,
Mr. and Mrs. Merchant, you've given birth to a basketball player. Look at his dribble already. Were you a tall baby? Babies aren't tall, are they?
At what point did you suddenly, Jesus, nothing fits me?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, Carl.
Let's do a little graph. How tall were you at 5?
Oh, I don't know. 3 foot?
3 foot. How tall were you at 12?
6 foot.
6. Were you really?
I don't know, do I? How do I remember? I don't remember this.
Well, when did teachers start calling you freak boy and lanky?
They didn't. It wasn't
didn't they?
So much. It was no.
You went to a funny school. I went bowling with him once. I'd never been bowling before, and he'd been once before. And he went, "Let's go to this bowl." We went to a bowling alley, right? And you have to wear these special shoes. Now they're sort of like pointed things anyway, and they're multicoloured, sort of red and green. They look pretty weird. And the woman said to me, "Oh, what size?" I said, "Oh, 8." She went, "Yeah." "So what size are you?" He went, 14. She went, 14. He went, "You probably haven't got them." She goes, "Yeah, I think we have got one pair." And she put them on the table, and it was like Krusty the Clown. And I just started laughing. They looked so long, and he had to run round this bowling alley in these freaky clown shoes.
But they don't look freaky clown like when I'm wearing them, because the rest of me's in proportion to it.
It looks like a little wall bracket.
One of the worst things that happened to me was when I was when I was about 16 or something. We went to Is the fire
there's a fire alarm going off.
There's a fire alarm going off.
And the fire light's going off. Yeah. Should we not just maybe
we
play a record and go and check that out?
Wrap it up if you want.
Oh, no, not wrap it up. Play a record. I'm going to go.
No, the
See you
fire,
later.
it's gone off, Rick. It's gone off.
Oh, what? It might have burnt down.
Yeah, I think we'd know about it. The flames licking around our ankles would be a clue.
God.
I'm going to go and investigate. You shouldn't ignore a fire alarm, should you?
Blimey.
Yeah, look
we're entertaining the nation.
Oh, look at him. He's scared of fire. I remember once, right? I used to love nature when I was about 8, 9, 10. Yeah. And I remember going out with my sister and my brother and their girlfriend and boyfriend, like to become their husband and wife. And
thanks for that.
Yeah, just keeping continuity there.
Yeah.
And I used to get shells and things on the beach, and I used to get anything. I love nature. And once I found I love reptiles as well, and I found this perfect snake skin, like a grass snake or an adder. And it was I absolutely I couldn't believe my luck. And I was going, look, and they were going, okay, put it down, because I realised they were a little bit scared of it. They were going, put it down, it's dirty. And of course I'd torture them a little bit. And then, I thought it was hilarious, and I made me leave it there, and I told mum and everything. And then, much later when I had some friends when I was about 14 or 15, I was telling this story to embarrass my sister, and, I was going, yeah, and she was scared of it. And she went, well, it was a used Johnny. She'd waited that long to embarrass me in front of my friends.
God.
I've been running round with a used Durex, thinking that this was great because they were scared of snakes, and they were going, put it down, it's dirty. No, be careful of the poison.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It is horrible, isn't it? Have I gone too far again?
How could you not realise it was made of rubber, for goodness sake? Well, you obviously didn't know anything about nature.
Well,
I used to love nature, me.
Yeah,
The difference between some skin and
yeah, this
rubber
is
Johnny.
Now be careful of the Johnny snake.
Yeah.
Their little poppy head and their poison that... Oh, dear.
I always remember there was this kid who lived near me once, and this bird got run over, and he said, I can save it, and he kissed it. Because he thought he could give it the he thought he could give it the kiss of life.
I thought you meant it was a girl.
No.
It got run over.
And he kissed it. No, he thought he could give it the kiss of life, but he didn't know what the kiss of life was. He just thought you could kiss something and that would bring it back to life.
I think it was an excuse. I think he was thinking, I can't wait for a bird to get run over, then I can pretend to be giving it a kiss of life, but really I'm giving it a nice little snog on the
I remember he
beak.
kissed it like that and threw it up like it would fly away, and it just went boom onto the floor.
Oh, was it dead or?
Yeah, it was blood everywhere. It was horrible.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And what is he doing now?
He presents Animal Hospital. No, I don't know what he's doing. But,
He's the worst vet in the world. Got struck off. Sleeping with one of his patients. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, bless him. Oh no, I killed a fish once.
Go on.
Well, I made a little bow and arrow. I was about 8 or 9, and I made a bow and arrow. And you know, you never think. I had a pond, and there was a huge fish in it, about 8 inches long, a huge big sort of like golden orf or something, or a carp or something. And I was sort of playing, and I aimed, and I shot it, and it went straight through it and floated to the top. And I thought, oh my God!
You pierced a fish with an arrow. That's an amazing shot.
Well, it was luck. It was pure luck. I
You're
never
Native American.
Yeah. You know those little things outside in the front garden by the front gate? The little sort of 4 inches by 4 inches bit of metal. You lift it up, and it's sort of like where the drains are. If the plumbers need to get there, or the council or anything like that.
Right.
I dropped it down there, and I thought, oh my God, what if that's discovered? What if I have to drive? So I ran loads and loads of journeys in and out of my house, right to the toilet and back, just taking out handfuls of Vim and pouring bleach down, thinking that I can get rid of this fish before the council dig it up in 10 years' time and go, send him to jail.
Yes.
Fish aside.
But what do you think they would have done? They'd have taken the dead fish, they've gone to each of the doors going, is this your fish?
Yeah, but I was 8. You don't think...
You recognise either the arrow or the fish?
Yes, it's arrow straight through it. But, you don't think when you're 8 that it'd be okay. If I can ride this out till I'm 20, the statute of limitations on goldfish murder, it is about, I can't work it out, 12 years.
Wow.
So that was...
a killer. Carl, anything embarrassing ever happened to you ever?
With what? With animals and stuff?
Could be animals.
I like animals, to be honest.
So do I. It was a mistake.
No, you know, I thought you were feeling bad about the fish.
Yeah.
But really, you were more worried about you being locked up.
Well, I felt bad. There was both the law and the moral side of fish death. I mean, we kill fish all the time, just not usually with a bow and arrow in a back garden in Whitley. Often the supermarket can lend a hand with that.
I used to sell mackerel.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a pet magpie.
Did you?
Called Maggie.
Pet magpie? You mean you captured it and didn't let it go away?
Yeah.
Can't have a pet magpie.
But then it got really vicious. I mean...
Well, it would let me go. What do you keep it in, a rabbit hutch?
No, it flew around, but it used to just, like, come to me all the time, but then it started pecking me head and stuff.
That's not a pet magpie. That's a bird in the garden.
No, but I could actually... I could hold it and stuff. It wasn't scared of me, and it knew it was me. It used to come down from, like, the top...
It hated you, that's why it wanted to peck you... Is that...
And the other thing, I always remember being younger and like walking through the woods to school with my mum, and like I was chasing a butterfly, and she said, "Oh, don't do that, Carl." I said, "Why?" She said, "'Cause they only live a day." I said, "Oh, all right, I'll get a dead one in the morning."
That's genius.
That's great. That's quick thinking, isn't it? Oh,
that's sweet. we're talking about embarrassing stories and stuff, and I don't know if I've told this on the radio before. Have I told you, Carl? I'm not sure. But this was when I was working at the BBC. This is not even long ago, and I'd moved to London, and I was fairly new in London. And I was working at the BBC, and I had this BBC hire car, and I've never told it. If there's anyone listening who works for the BBC, I don't know if I can still get in trouble for it. But this BBC hire car, and it was like I'd been ferrying kind of actors and people and production people around all day in this car. And I was driving back, it was quite late, it was about sort of 7 or 8, and I was driving back, and I pulled in to get some petrol. We had to fill up the car every day. And I went into this garage to fill up some petrol, and I was there, and this two blokes came in a white van, right? They sort of pulled into the forecourt, and I was filling up the car, and they went, "Hey, do you want to buy a couple of speakers?" And I said, "Yes, I do."
Yeah.
Because, tell you the reason, it was like I was so flattered that they thought I'd be the kind of bloke who would, A, need some kind of classy speakers, and B, would like to buy them on the sly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, they like the
They've
fact
seen me. They've seen I look a bit of a hustler.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm a street sort of guy. You can see by the way I use my walk.
Exactly. So I couldn't believe my luck. So they drove behind the garage, the little sort of garage bit at the back, and I went round there, sort of casually went round there, sort of locked the car, went round there. They went, yeah, open the back, you had these speakers in there. I said, "Are you sure these aren't knocked off, mate?" He went, no. We work for Dixon's. This is the story he spun me. We work for Dixon's, right? And we're delivery men, and if we make a delivery and the person's not there to sign for the goods, then we have to bring them back to the warehouse. But if we can sell them on the way back, then that's really good for Dixon's.
Dixon's must love that.
And instead of thinking, are you sure some kind of troubleshooter didn't... I mean, did someone go into Dixon's and go, yeah, you're not getting in the garage forecourt market?
Jones.
Exactly.
Get a couple of lads in a white van.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I sort of bought this story, and I was a little bit dubious, and I went, right, let me hear them then. And he wired them up to the car stereo, and boom, 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 they're playing. So it was some groovy hip-hop. I was thinking, great, these guys know what I'm into. Yeah. And he's giving me the talk and stuff. And, I said, I'm a bit worried these are knocked off. He went, no, listen, we got a bloke at Dixon's who can confirm this is fine, right? Phone him up, use my mobile, right? And quote this reference number, right? So I phone out, they go, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and it goes, yeah, I go, hi, some guys here in the garage forecourt trying to sell me some speakers. Just wanted to check. He went, it's fine. I went, should I just read the reference number or whatever? He went, if you want. And X14, and I went, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what that was, don't you? That was actually Mr. Dixon himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, well, you know, they sound great. They're giving me for a knockdown price. I'd say they were like 400 quid, they were like 200 quid or something. It was a good bargain. I was in the market for some speakers as well. Yeah. So, while they were loading
them
in...
It's all kosher, I phoned Dixon's.
Exactly, I phoned Dixon's, that's fine.
Yeah.
So while they're loading them in the back of the BBC hire car, right, I'm in there paying for the petrol, right, and the guy who's serving goes, oh, right. He goes, what were you doing around the back with those blokes? Right? Because obviously there's security cameras filming this whole transaction, right? And he goes, what are you doing around the back? And I went, brilliantly, there's some old mates. Some of my mates were just having a chat and that. He went, oh, right, okay, like giving me obviously the evil eye. So I went back to the van. So I'm in the car now, and I'm driving with one of the blokes who's in the van with me, because I didn't have the money on me, so I had to go to the cash point to get the cash, right? So I'm driving with him, and the other guy's like following me in the van, and he was like a northerner like you, and he was giving it all the, alright, yeah, you know. I tell my girlfriend's a DJ, she's got some of these speakers, they're fantastic, da-da-da, and he's giving me this. And then my mind starts working. Now that I've got a bit of time to think, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this all sounds a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
It dawned on me, Rick.
You know, fool, are you? You're streetwise.
Exactly.
You're streetwise, Steve.
Not only that, I was thinking, how am I going to get them home? I've got to drop the car off at the BBC. How am I going to get these huge speakers back to where I live?
And how can I pay for them? Because I've just spent £100 on Find the Lady. With a couple of blokes in the square. It seemed like a fair game. Some of his friends were winning.
But so I explained to him, I said, I can't get them back to, like, Brixton, where I was living at the time. He went, don't worry, give us an extra 20 quid, we'll take them home for you.
Oh, that's good. Delivery. They do a whole service, you see. And there's also a backup guarantee. Did they have the guarantee, the 3-month guarantee?
They didn't.
No.
But so I said, I'm not sure about that. He went, well, why don't you put them in a cab, send them back, and your housemates can collect it? I was like, oh no, there'd be no one in. And I was beginning to sort of get a bit conscious of, like, maybe this was a bit of a scam after all. So I pulled into like a little side road. I said, I'm not sure I'm into this now. Actually, he went, what are you talking about? It's 200 quid for a pair of speakers. It's a bargain. You never get a bargain like this, mate. I'm going, not too sure, actually. I don't think I want them. He went, 150 quid, 150 quid, mate, 150 quid. I went, no. He said, 100 quid now to you. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like the kind of work that Dixon's would be doing.
Dixon's don't do that when I go in.
This is it.
Dixon's never negotiate in that way.
When I go there, look around and I leave, they go, where are you going? Exactly. I go, we'll have anything then. Have anything for a quid.
So I stopped the car and the white van pulled up behind me with his mates in.
Sure.
And, and I said, can you get them out? I'm not interested. And he went, oh, 100 quid, mate. Oh, you, and he was just going, you tosser, you obviously want some speakers, and he was having a go at me. So I was carrying the speakers out and putting them back in the white van, and he was just shouting at me, he was going, 70 quid, mate. I said, 70 quid from 200? This is ludicrous.
You realise that wasn't Dixon's policy then.
Exactly.
They don't usually shout you tosser as you leave the, as you leave the shop and walk down Camden High Street. They're not usually shouting you tosser.
You should have took the offer of, like, the monthly payments they've got on at the moment.
So I eventually put them in there, and I sort of knocked the deal on the head, and I got back in my car, and they were in theirs, and I just looked in the rearview mirror, and they were punching the dashboard, like, with aggression and venom, like we let that deal slip through our fingers. And I've never been so terrified in my life. I just sat there, and I was just thinking, oh my god, all I was thinking now is, what if I go back to the BBC, and they go, we've had a call from the police, the man at the garage, he saw you doing a dodgy deal.
I love it. Well, what you do is, you put the hire car in a drain in your front garden, and then go in and out of the toilet, just pouring bleach down, or Ajax, and they never know.